Well, now that I've got that door painted, I've got another project I want to undertake, and it's using some of these fence pickets again. I wonder if you can guess what it is I want to do. I'll bet you can. I've got full fence pickets here. I've also got the leftover materials from building the shutters. I've got these pieces here that are about 15 inches long, and these little strips as well. And I'm going to go ahead and build some window boxes. I bet you guessed that. Some window boxes. And I'm trying to decide how I want to do that. I've got a few different ideas that I possibly could do. And I'm going to try to take a look and maybe mock up some things here to see what I think might work the best. The first one I was thinking about is cutting these so there wouldn't be as tall. If I put two of these together, that's going to be too tall for the window box. But I could cut those, and then I was thinking of like just doing some basic trim around the edge and the corners and top and bottom, kind of like that. I kind of like that way. There's some other ideas too. Another idea was to basically do that kind of thing, but then to do slats, kind of do this kind of thing, would kind of match a little bit to the shed itself, kind of give almost that board and batten kind of style. But then I also have all of these, and we thought, well, we could do almost like a picket fence kind of thing and have those dog ears at the top like that. Even maybe add some trim on it and do kind of a dog-eared kind of thing. Or we can just forget the dog ears, cut them down so they're smaller, obviously, and just do more like a box like that with slats. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. We could even do this. It'd be very similar to the other one with these. Be kind of that board and batten style again, but wouldn't have the line running through the middle of it. So I thought I'd bring Brady over to give his expert opinion of what he thinks, so I'll know what not to do.
Don't
just
do
kidding.
Anything I don't suggest. There you go. I like the idea of running the slats vertically on it, but I think it looks better if you run the boards lengthwise, so you do get that split in it. I don't know, I kind of like that. Or the picket fence look.
I'm partial to the plain box look without the slats vertical, but with the pickets vertical and no dog ears at the top, just like this, just square up. I think it goes with the shutters more. It's more simple.
Mm-hmm. I agree, it is more simple, which is why you shouldn't do that. I
should dress it up a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. With the little, oh shoot, with the little dog-eared look, it adds a bit more texture to the whole look, which this thing is a lot of straight lines. And so I think breaking it up by giving it a little roundedness just on two spots would be nice for it.
Would you put those across there or just take that off and just do?
I'd put them like middle, like
in the middle,
like a fence.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Too many choices.
So many. Tell us what you would do.
And who knows?
Maybe we'll do it. Not because you said so.
Because the video will already be done by the time we should. You're looking at this. Just don't tell you what. You can stop here, put your comments in, and then watch the end and see, oh, did I guess what they would do?
Yeah.
So maybe better for you to guess what we'll do rather than say what you would do, because it probably doesn't matter at this point. Maybe if we'd shown the designs days ahead of time, said
sometime last month.
We're going to leave it up to you guys to decide what to do. But we're not.
We will eventually on some projects that doesn't matter. So you guys can share your crappy little opinions with us, and it won't matter that you ruin it. I gotta drive controversy. That gets the views. That gets the clicks.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'll be honest. Too many ideas. It's a good thing I'm in charge of it, so I can do what I want.
Yep. Yeah.
But
and then I can say it would have looked better if you'd done it my way.
I should build them all 5 different ways.
And then we can swap them out.
Change them out by the season. Oh, here's the spring box.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Go spring box.
Oh, well, I'll decide here in a minute. But what I do know, you can leave now. See
okay.
ya.
Goodbye.
What I do know is that I want to make the box a size that will accept these, because I don't want to actually put dirt in the box. And I just want to have containers that I can just stick in the box and we're done. If the plant's dead or whatever, we can just pull that out, put something else in. So that's my plan anyway, is to make it so that these containers will fit in the box. Make it easy. So let's see what I do. Okay, I've decided what I'm going to do. After contemplating for hours and hours, I've decided that I am going to do the boards lengthwise like this. I'm going to join them together like I did with the shutters with the Craig jig and screws. The height is going to be 8 1/4 inches tall. And so that means each one of these boards I need to be 4 1/8. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go that I did with the shutters. I'm going to rip each side of these to clean up those edges, and then I'm going to cut them down to size. The remaining piece, after I cut those down to size, I'll be using in a different way on these. I'll show you that in a minute. I want to cut my stuff, but Brady's cutting his. I can't. By the time he's done, it's going to be dark, and then I can't work. The first picket I did was smaller than the rest, so now they're all a little smaller than what I planned on. I don't think it'll be a problem though, but I'll just try to shave just a little bit off the other side. So each of those ended up being 5 3/16 instead of 5 1/4 wide. That should be just fine. So now I'm going to rip each one of those into 4 1/8 inch strips. So I've got a bigger piece and a smaller piece, and I'll use the bigger pieces then to make the sides of that box. And as I do that, I'm going to decide which part of the board I want to be the longer piece, the wider piece. Like some of these will be kind of a lighter part and the darker part. I may not want to have it be all light or all dark, and I'll try to mix and match so I can see some of that wood grain in it a little bit better. That was not part of the plan. The small piece busted into 3 pieces actually. I'll figure out how to make it work. I am quickly realizing as I'm going through this that I do not have enough wood to do what I want to do. But I can get started, and dang it. That bums me out. So I've gone ahead. I've got my front and back pieces cut, and now I've cut my end pieces. I want the inside to be 7 inches wide in order to fit those pots again. So I've got the end pieces that are 7 inches, and so now I'm just going to glue and nail those together, and then we'll go from there. There we go. There's our box. Now I'm thinking that in order to stabilize the center part, although it's pretty strong, I don't know, I went ahead and got me another piece to fit in the middle that I figure will just kind of hold it in place. But I'm going to save that for later because I have some other stuff I need to do first. On the bottom side, I'm going to use strips. I'll use this as an example, but I'm going to cut it down a little smaller. Strips to put underneath it here so that there'll be a lip on the inside that then I can put slats in there to fit from lip to lip, but there'll be gaps in between those slats that will then allow water to go through, and there won't be any pooling of water. So I'll use like these, set those down inside, put another one in there so there'll be gaps in between. And the pots can sit on top of that easily, but still have a place for the water to go. So I'm going to cut, I think, 3/4 of an inch strips to put in the bottom of that there. Okay, so I've got two pieces cut here, one for this side, one for this side, and so it's just going to fit right in like that. And that will create the ledge on the other side. So we're just going to glue it and nail it in. Now, I've got those pieces in the bottom, so I've got a support on both sides of the planter box, and I'm going to use these that were left over from building the shutters, and I'm going to use those for the slats inside. So I'm going to cut these down to 6 7/8 inch. They'll be able to lie down right inside there, and we'll space them all throughout. So you can see how this is working out. What I did is I took one of those 1/2 inch pieces, put a little nail on it so I could get it out of there, but then that's my spacer. And I'll put that piece in, nail it in, pull that out, put it down for the next spot. Just working my way down to the end. All right, all done with that. Looking good. Now we just got to dress up the outside a little bit by adding some trim around the sides, the top, bottom, and corners. And this baby will be done. I'm going to go ahead and go with a trim that's about this size that I'll put across the top and the bottom and along the edges. I'm going to do 1.5 inches. And unfortunately, when I was cutting the wood earlier, I realized that I made the big mistake that I always keep saying I shouldn't do out here, and that is, if you think a certain amount is enough, always bring more, because inevitably you're going to need more than what you think. And I didn't do that with these pickets, and so I only have enough to really complete one of these boxes right now. And so I'm going to have to use the pieces that would be the sides of this for the second box. I'm going to have to use those to rip them down to do for my trim. I've got these kind of pieces left, but I don't want to do piecemeal for it. And I've got longer pieces here from trimming up these boards, but these are just too thin. I think that's too narrow of a trim to go on there. So I'm going to cut these up in order to get this one done. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut 1.5 inch strips off of these in order to finish my trim. So I've got the box all built and it's looking really good. I like it. But when I got done, I thought this definitely needs a cap on it. Something to trim out this top and make it pretty. There's just lots of pieces showing in here. It's just kind of messy looking. So what I did is I cut me an 1.5 inch piece of trim, put some 45-degree angles on it there. So that'll go there. This back one, I had to cut a little smaller so that it'd actually be flush here. So when I mount it on the wall, that it'll just be flush up against there. So that's going there. And then side pieces, same thing. And so I think that will look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and glue and nail those on there. And let's see what it looks like. All right, I had some technical difficulties with the nail gun there, but I think we got it figured out. And I've got my first piece on now. We're gonna continue to put these on. I went ahead and glued the seam as well so that it will hopefully hold together really well. And I'm going to nail from the end here to hold those together as well from both sides. There we go. That's a good looking seam there. And there you have it. All trimmed out on the top. Looks nice. Let you see it from the front. There's the front. Put a little lip on it here, so that would look good. I like it. There is one thing I'm thinking about though. I'm looking at this and for some reason I'm feeling like it would look good if there was another one of these pieces right in the middle here. So I went ahead and cut me a piece to see what it would look like. I think I kind of like that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in there as well. I got to see if I can fit my pots in it, because there's a little bit of a lip there. I think they'll go in there. You just have to coerce it a little bit, but they fit. I figured out that you can put 5 pots in here, 1 in the middle and 2 on each side. Well, what do you think? No. I know, I knew that when I built it. I'm like, I need to have something for display afterwards. We could dig flowers out of our bed and put them in there. Yeah, I thought about that. We've got lots of flowers in the bed.